up, geniuses? Welcome back to For the Record. I'm your host, Ryan Markman. Now, today's guest to me is an enigma, is a rarity in hip-hop. Came into the game about 20 years ago, and when he came into the game, he was considered an elite lyricist, a deadly lyricist. And somehow, about 20 years in his career, the man continues to get better and better and better and elevate the bar. He's here today. He has a new single out. Black Savage is the new single. So I feel like something's cooking. I want to get into his business. Royce the 5'9", man.
My brother, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Welcome to For the Record, man. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm good.
Yeah.
Much smaller room.
A little bit. It looks bigger on TV. I say this. I'm gonna start out right here and put all my cards on the table. You know, we often argue on social media amongst ourselves in group chat on forums like this about the best rappers. I think you're the best rapper breathing. It's just my opinion. In terms of, I think the way you put words together, the way you've been able to get better throughout your career, you know, from albums like, the Prime albums to Layers was a dope album. The Book of Ryan was a super dope album. Is that important to you? Like I also seen things where you said on your social media not to let other opinions validate you as an artist and an MC. How much do you get into that believing in yourself versus what other people say about you?
That's a good question. I really believe on some levels that it's mind over matter, you know. And it's really difficult. Like I've been going through this thing where I kind of like study people. I don't know if it's something I got from my dad or what, but you know, when you get into like the intentions of people and the motive, and you're not so accepting of just I call them anecdotal facts, the facts that float around that everybody's reading and repeating. When you start thinking about the agenda of certain media outlets, and then you look deeper than, you know, everybody's top 50 lists. You know what I mean? Like everybody's top 50 lists is you can probably find something. You can find a reason why this artist is here and this artist is here, and it's just like, why even let it, you know, control me like that? Why go on a rant and go through all of that stuff when at the end of the day it doesn't really matter?
Because it's all bias, it's all opinion. Like
bias, that's the word. That's right? The right word I'm looking for. Bias.
Because there's no, and even in sports, there's a sports bias, but in sports there's a record. You know, there's a free throw percentage, there's a field goal percentage, there's a 3-point. There's some mathematical fact that you can kind of point to and at least to aid these arguments. And you're still gonna argue LeBron versus MJ all day.
You know what, man? It's like if I'm sure if Michael Jordan told Steph Curry he was the best, it would mean something.
Right.
You know, like. You telling me it means something. You know what I mean? Because I know you're an MC, first of all.
Thank you.
And you like, I fell in love with doing it at the open mic. You know what I mean? Like we started out impressing each other. Right. You know, Redman telling me that he thinks that I'm great meant everything to me. That's kind of like what I equate success with, stuff like that.
And you know, we often argue. I want to give respect too, because sometimes I do flip-flop between you and Black Thought.
Me too.
And it's about whoever put something out, whoever was the last person to put something out. You know what I'm saying? Black Thought drops a Flex freestyle. I was like, oh, this guy's the best. You know what I'm saying? Royce drops a Prime album. I was like, yo, this guy's killing it. Jay is up there. I think you know, Jay is the GOAT. Like we're talking about top tier, so you can't go wrong. But I always wondered how much that really mattered to you. And then I also said in the intro, you've been getting better as an MC. It's something. It's an opinion that I have. I've seen a lot of people say that. You know, I think these last couple of albums, like I've learned things about you. Like Tabernacle, I think is one of the most, just as a story rhyme goes and just revealing of your favorite artist, is just one of those songs that you get those every few years.
Thank you, man.
When you talk about how the universe works and being in the hospital, and on the 5th floor your grandmother is passing away, and on the 9th floor your son is being born, and your name is Royce the 5'9", and your height is actually 5'9", like how the universe just puts all this stuff in front of you. I think that was a great record. You know, on Book of Ryan, I think Cocaine was a super important record, a super powerful record. How Do you feel like you're getting better?
I hope so. I mean, that's what I strive for. I try to just stay on my own frequency. You know, like I don't do the normal things that you get told to do. Pay attention to what's going on and all of that. I don't do that. I don't put what's going on in my head. You know what I mean? Like I study me. To me, knowledge of self. Knowledge of self is the way to improve. Knowledge of self and practice. I practice all the time. I don't mind practicing.
Right.
It's fun. And then when it stops getting fun, we just move on to something else. It's always other passions. Right now, MCing is still just a passion of mine. So
Right.
I feel like as long as I'm still interested in it, I should be able to get better.
A song like Cocaine, I remember calling you with, just on that whole book of Ryan, you talked a lot about your family. I think as a culture coming from the households that we come from, that you're kind of taught not to put family business out there, boy. Don't talk about this family business. And you put your family business out there. It's part of your story as well. And I remember calling you as an artist, like, where do you find there's a lot of things that maybe I feel like I can't say publicly because I love my mom, I love my dad, I love my brothers and my sisters, and put that out there. How do you reconcile with that as an artist? Talking about your father's addictions and just the ups and downs your family went through.
Well, I'm just like you. I feel the exact same way, and I feel like it has to be done within the parameters of who you are. You know what I mean? My line that I'm crossing may be a little further than yours.
Right.
And yours may change. You know what I mean? So it's just about keeping it you.
Right.
Like if I step outside of that, then I'm going too far. But if I stay within the confines of just who I am as a person, it's good. And I put most of my focus on trying to make sure that at least to me, it felt like I kept it super respectful because the intention wasn't to offend anybody. It was just to tell my story.
Does Thanksgiving get awkward after that?
Nah. But we had some moments. You know what I mean? Like not moments, but just some things got said. I heard comments here and there, but that's what art does. Like it kind of forces you to look at things sometimes.
Dope. So where are you now with it? And again, you have a whole discography of shit, but I talk about Layers. I talk about Book of Ryan. To me, like Layers, like there was a sharp. Just I don't know what dimension you entered in Book of Ryan where it was like, oh, he's in a new level of his career, a new zone in his career. With Black Savage out now, features Sci-Hi the Prince, features T.I. B Works is a part of that. White Gold. Yeah. Shout out to the homie. Sorry the Kid. Is a part of the record. Talk to me about that record and what's signifying what's to come.
Well, Black Savage is just, we did that record. I started it out, and it's just basically like, everybody's throwing the term savage around right now. And it's a way to take a word that's normally like has a negative connotation to it and then just kind of adding a positive to it, but still like gangster. It's like if I say that's gangster, Rob, doesn't mean you just went and killed somebody. It just means you did something good. You know what I mean? Like you're a good father. You know what I mean? Like I feel like those types of things aren't put up on a pedestal enough. Like rap itself is just it's associated with negativity, maybe a little too much sometimes. I feel like the artists who are able to speak and cut through clear and people can understand what they're saying. Sometimes we have to be able to look at that and see that and provide that balance and do our part. So I tried to find very clear, prolific artists and put them all together and just make something.
Right. No, it's a dope record. I think it's always fun when you put a couple of MCs on. When we talk about these top tier level lyricists,
it's like my favorite thing to do.
Like how do you rhyme? Sci-Hi again is one of those guys that I remember he went on his last album run, and No Church on Sunday, which was a dope album. He had a freestyle for every radio station that he hit, and it was like 48 bars. It was like, incredible lyricist. Do you ever find to like when you know you're gonna be on a track with a Sci High or Ti? Does it force you or does it lead you to write different, or are you just always on your verse to 5'9" shit with those guys?
Man, hell yeah. It's like I'm not sending nothing. It just depends on what it is, you know. Like I've written things before and started it and felt like, yo, it would be dope to put such and such on this. But if I'm thinking of a name like Sci-Hi the Prince, I'm making sure I got my shit together first. You know what I'm saying? If it's T.I. and I don't have a problem sending my verse. A lot of guys do.
Right.
I don't have a problem sending my verse, but if I have something that's just like a start, I prefer to do that. Just because it's like a guy like Sci-Hi, T.I., like if they hear your verse first, they're gonna top it.
Right.
There's no way around it.
And it's not even like they're studying, like they're listening.
Yeah, no, they're studying it.
Okay, this
yes,
is the
they
bar.
Are. Yes, they are.
They're rewinding it.
Yes,
okay.
they are. Don't let nobody tell you that. Me and Crook had a long conversation about this because I do it too. If you send me your verse, I'm gonna top your verse.
You're studying it.
That's gonna be my job for the song.
Okay.
The Slaughterhouse, they did it to me all the time.
Word.
All the time. They sat and listened to my verse, and then they kicked my ass, and then we made a good song.
T.I. just rewind that? Bring that back? Nah, man, that's funny. So it gets that competitive. You know, I ain't gonna lie. Has there ever been a record where you feel like, in particular, where you feel like, damn, man, like, they done got me on my own shit. They done heard my shit, picked me apart, and just destroyed me?
Nah. I mean,
not destroyed. Destroyed is a strong word.
There's been a record. It's one that sticks out in my head all the time where I just got murdered, where I didn't intend to get murdered.
Yeah.
Where I didn't feel like it was fair. Black Thought.
Right.
It was a Static Selector record. He didn't tell me Thought was gonna be on it.
Right.
And I did that thing that we do where it's like I gotta hurry up because I gotta get it to him.
Right.
Static been asking me, I gotta get it to him. I just gotta get it over. And I sent him a cool verse. And then when it came out, it was me, Black Thought, and Action Bronson. And Bronson's verse was cool. His verse was about the same length as mine. And then Thought was on the end going for like 5 minutes.
I kind of felt that way with Someone Lock, I think it was the record.
Yeah.
Or Booker Ryan with Fab. I said, whatever happened, Fab got this verse last. I feel like he had literally the last verse, but I felt like he had something to prove.
Fab just could go. I mean,
no, Fab could definitely go, but
if you do a song with somebody like Fab,
yeah,
if you sending it to him, you might as well send it to him with the song kind of structured for him to be the killer.
right.
Like we did this in Slaughterhouse all the time with Crook. We would set it up to where his job on the song would be to murder the song. To compete with Fab on a song where we're just rapping and he's like one of the greatest punchline rappers ever, is just to stress yourself out.
Yeah. Nah, it's hard though. It does make for dope rap music, like, you know what I'm saying? Talk about too how much, man. Congratulations. You know, I get happy every time I see you. I feel like the date, forgive me if I'm wrong, is somewhere in September. For your annual sobriety. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, man.
What are we going on? 7 years?
Well, we 7. We at 7.
7 years.
It'll be 8 next year.
Man, congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that. How much of your sobriety play into just your? I feel like, again, your ability to get better as an MC.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's everything. I mean, that's what it is. When you said that turning point right before Layers, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Just stopping drinking, man. Like I couldn't do it like everybody else.
Right.
You know? So it's just I need to be clicking on all cylinders all day to be able to do what I want to do and take care of the things that I need to take care of and be able to learn more things about myself, apply those things in the areas of my life that I feel like need to improve. You know, being a father, being a good friend, being a good husband, all of these things, they if I'm drinking all day, it's kind of like impeding my judgment. Then I get a little wild and crazy. I start doing crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the crazy shit just wasn't working for me.
It wasn't working for you. How much? I mean, look, man, because drugs, alcohol, I think addiction devices, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, you know, it's been a part of hip hop with each generation, right? And I want to ask you, you know, things like, you know, the loss of Mac Miller, who I know was a friend of yours, the loss of Lil Peep, Fredo Santana, most recently Juice WRLD, who we're still watching the details unfold, and we don't know exactly what was going on here, but he talked about his addiction. Do you think we could ever have the music and the lifestyle without the addiction, or do you feel like it goes hand in hand?
You mean as a whole?
As a whole.
Oh no, there'll never be a time where it's not music and addiction.
Right.
I mean, it's not a part of music, it's a part of us.
Right.
It's embedded in our fabric. It's just what it is. You know, just like communication is an issue. You know, just like there's no such thing as therapy in the black community. It's always going to be that way. It's always going to be that way. There's always going to be young black kid in the ghetto growing up in a house where there's no communication, suppressed feelings. There's always going to be that until we start passing down some of these amenities to the next generation. Like therapy is an amenity. It's something we turn our backs on and we say, nah, we don't want to do that because we hear stuff about it. We hear the wrong information about it. You know, we have the wrong idea of what that is. We have no idea how helpful that it is.
You know, it kind of goes back to that thing I said in the beginning, the stigma of even not talking about family business to anybody. The things that bother us, things that play us. What do you say to kind of young artists when it comes to that? Because I know one of the things that kind of goes unsung about you is that you mentor a lot. Like you really, you know, you got the studio now in Detroit Heaven. I know a lot of artists that becomes a hub, not just for a home base for yourself, but I know a lot of young artists.
They think I'm crazy over there. They think I'm crazy.
Why is that?
Because I'm always yelling. Like I will not let anybody go crazy on my watch. And you will not do the normal, this is what I'm supposed to do, rapper stuff, not on my watch. You know?
So in the case of drugs, but outside of that as well.
Oh no, yeah, that everything.
Okay.
But you definitely not doing no drugs in front of me.
Right.
I mean, you know, they smoke weed and stuff. I mean, I don't, you know, whatever, you know,
Right.
but popping pills and sniffing lines and all of that shit, you won't do that in my studio.
Not in your studio. What are some of the other things that's funny, man? I think that is interesting, and because there's two ways to go about this, right? And a lot of times when we sense tragedy with the younger generation, it's the older veterans. Some choose to talk down, as if they didn't go through the same struggles. And then there's what I call like a real mentorship. And like I said, I've seen that with you. What are some of the other things outside of the drugs that you kind of see with young rappers in your circle that you try to walk them through?
Well, one of the first things, I think one of the biggest things is just like with anything else, it's a confidence thing. It's very important just to you got to believe in yourself before you can convince anybody else. And like just the things that you can do, like the way sky's the limit on how you can elevate if you just believe, you know what I mean? So that's the first thing, like especially with my son. My son is a singer and a producer. And one day I saw him beating on the table, you know what I mean? Just making a beat on the table. And I was like, hey, we're going to go to the Guitar Center with that.
Right.
So I snatched him up and we went to the Guitar Center and I got him everything, machine, everything, right? So it's set in boxes in the basement for like a year, maybe 2 years. And the first thing he started doing was just like, he would be recording something like on GarageBand on his phone. And then eventually I started hearing snares, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, he must be down there. So now he's producing like whole projects. But anything that he's ever done, that he's ever came and played me, I told him it was great.
Okay.
No criticism.
What's the benefit of that?
Well, what's the benefit of criticism?
Right.
Think about it. Now, have you ever listened to anything that you did as a teenager, now that you're as good as you are? Have you ever listened back and thought it was good?
When I was back then, yeah.
Back then, but
Yeah.
I'm talking about
Now?
in retrospect.
Absolutely not.
Of course.
Terrible.
So what difference does it make?
Terrible.
You know what I'm saying?
There's
no way. It's
Right.
impossible. So what's the purpose?
So he has to get the terrible stuff out. Like he has to
You
grow.
have to.
He has to grow.
It's like sparring.
Right.
You got to go get punched in the face. It's the only way to learn. I can tell you, we can hit pads all day. I can put the gloves on. You can shadow box, but until you get punched in the face, you have no idea. It's the only way to get better. So you just got to. It all comes in practice, and the musical inclination is there. He's blessed with that.
Right.
So we put that aside. Just practice.
You picked up production recently as well. I bumped into Premier, and he said he had heard some stuff, heard a project from you that you were working on, and you just, when Premier lights up, he lit up about the production that he heard from you. What's up with you with Royce 5'9", the producer now?
After I did Book of Ryan, I was going to the studio and I didn't really have nothing to say. So it was just like, I'm at a point where I just want to rap just to be rapping, you know, doing a lot of studying, reading a lot of things. And I was writing 16s. I felt they were cool, but it just I wasn't getting that that fulfillment that I get. You go for the fulfillment thing with raps?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, somebody will come in and they'll tell you, they'll be like, yeah, that's dope. But then, like, it's not like a, that's dope.
Yeah.
It's more of a just, that's dope. And there ain't nothing wrong with it.
And you kind of feel like they're only half listening anyway.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, those raps where it's like, it's not crazy, but there ain't nothing wrong with it.
Right.
It's just existing.
Yeah. No, I get it.
So I was just like, those are cool, I guess, whatever. So I that's what I was doing. I was like not knowing what I want to talk about. So I was just chilling, watching TV. And then one day somebody said something about making beats, and I just was like, you know what, man, that's what I should do. I should just start messing with like an MPC or something like that, just to learn. Mm-hmm. So I went and started buying equipment. And as I started to learn stuff, you know, I had people giving me sounds and all type of stuff. And I went overseas. I think I was doing some shows with Marshall overseas. Mm-hmm. And I sat on FaceTime with Preem one night for like 3 hours. And he was just walking me through how to use the MPC. And he taught me how to use it. So I went down kind of like a rabbit hole with it, just like making whack beat, whack drum loops after whack drum loop after whack drum loop. And then I got home, and you know, Mr. Porter is right next door in the room next door. So he come walking in the room like, what is that? I'm like, yo, I made this. He's like, yo, so he was able to explain to me why it was good what I was doing. Like, you're not supposed to be able to do this quick. Like, he point out little nuances, and it helped me like progress. You know what I mean? And then he showed me how to use Logic, and once that happened, I fell in love with that because, you know, the whole format looks like Pro Tools, and I knew Pro Tools.
You know Pro Tools, yeah. So like line editing.
Yeah. It's like so it just made more sense to me, like the language, you know, for what I was looking at, and I just started practicing from there, and one thing led to another. Me and Keno talk every day. You know, we was talking about doing the EP, so I was just like trying to work on that, and of course I couldn't figure out how to make 3-4 songs exist with each other. Right. So it turned into more songs and more songs and more songs, and then I start really want to talk about certain things, and then it just turns into an album. So this is the first album that I've ever done that happened to me as opposed to me.
How much of the production did you do on this album?
Whole thing.
The whole thing. So you top to bottom.
Top to bottom.
So you DJ Premier now. Premier could rap, man.
No sir, no sorry. See, that's the thing. That's the thing I was worried about. Like at the very beginning, it was like, man, you will not hear anything from me that sounds like I'm trying to compete with my masterful beatmaker friends. Right. There's no way.
But it works for you.
See, it works for anybody if they're of the understanding that producing is way different from making beats. Right. It's not about making the best beat. It's about making the right beat. Right. So as long as you understand that, as long as you're not making beats and then, you know, calling A-Rap Music up and saying, let me hear what you got and listen to what I got, you'll never be happy.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Like, how can I like top that? You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I get it. I heard you was in New York. I know the single is out, and you know, I invited you up here. Really, I want to get in your business, man. I feel like if there's a single coming, there's an avalanche coming behind it. Is there an album coming?
Yes. It's called The Allegory. And it's produced solely by me. Okay. The whole thing.
Nah, man, I look forward to hearing it for sure. You know, you got to come back when it's out because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stuff to kind of break down, analyze, and I want to get into the shits real quick with you though. You know what I'm saying? Did you hear this new Nick Cannon record, my brother, featuring Suge Knight, man? I feel like you started this, man. I
started?
Yeah.
What did I do?
You the one who hooked Marshall up with Fat Joe to do the record.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
I mean, you know, Joe is like one of my idols, man. Like, I look up to him. And I just called him one day, man, because I was thinking about, and that's another one of them things we were talking about, like, when we have that kind of admiration for each other, we need to hear that. We like to hear that. So I just called him to tell him he was great.
I get killed for that by some of the other commentators, pundits, for the admiration that I give. It makes people
That's ridiculous.
uncomfortable. It's
ridiculous.
laughable to me because
That's
I
ridiculous.
feel like then when one of us passes away,
Then you
they be the
greatest of all
first one
time.
with the RIP post. You know, I
caught
seen it
him.
with Combat Jack. I seen other journalists kick his back and
Mm-hmm.
jump over him for an interview, cut his throat for an interview, and when Reggie wasn't here no more, it was R.I.P. Reggie and all of this, and I didn't get it. Sorry, that you
it's all
struck a
good.
chord,
It's all
but
good.
so
It's
you're giving
all
Joe the
relative.
flowers.
It's all relative. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I called Joe. I reached out to him. I got him on the phone. I was like, "Yo, man, listen, I don't want nothing. I just called you to tell you that you're great. I think everything you're doing is great." I was listening to the FloJo album, and I was like, "Yo, bro, that was 1993, was it?" It's like 1993. You was rhyming Judy with booty. I was like, "Yo, the what you're able to do at your age, man, and just the way you keep getting better, man, I think it's phenomenal, man. I just wanted to let you know that. Like, thank you." So we talked like an hour. We talked about Pun, Big L. Had a great
People
conversation.
forgot, by the way, real quick. He had the Where I'm From sample beat before Jay-Z.
Yeah.
On that FloJo album, man. Nah, Joe was a little ahead of his time.
Yeah,
But
so
progressed.
we didn't even talk about that in that conversation, in that conversation. So he ended up calling, well, actually, Dre called me. Dre from Cool and Dre called me. I love Dre. So he called me. He was like, "Yo, man," he just asked me how I felt about it, if I felt like it was possible. And I was like, I can give it to him and see what he says.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I called Marshall, and I told him about the whole conversation. And he was like, "You know what, man? I was just listening to the FloJo album."
That's crazy.
He said, "I just went down a Fat Joe rabbit hole a couple days ago." I was like, "Wow." I was like, "That's crazy." So, I mean, I sent him the record. He took it on with him on a plane, and he wrote it on the plane, called me back like, "Yeah, I think I got something." So I was like, "Well, can I let them know?" He was like, "Yeah." So I hit him back. I was like, "Yeah, you're going to do it." That was it. He didn't say nothing to me about Nick Cannon.
You know Nick Cannon was going to get jabbed again.
I didn't know, bro.
What do you make of that? I'm looking at it like, it's funny to me. I can't see this.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, it has funny moments. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's entertaining, I guess.
Right.
So it's-
What is it? I think Emma's a lightning rod, and I think people kind of at this point extremely love him or don't, right? And you're super close to him, and you know, a lot of times even you take bullets. A lot of times, how I say, I take bullets for giving people flowers. You take bullets for standing up for your guy,
which is ridiculous.
for your friend. What is it that people don't understand about him, or that you think people get fucked up about?
He sits in that space where people associate that space with like all things bad. You know, like they don't hear from him. He's not so vocal all the time. He's not doing tons of interviews. So people are very presumptuous, and people really want to know everybody's business. And I think that that shield, I guess you can call it, between him and the people, it leaves room for people to just create their own narrative and picture. And then you also got other guys that like choose to trash him for whatever reason, that it makes it easier for them to control narrative and make it seem a certain way. And unless he's gonna come down and clarify what's being said or go against what's being said, then it just looks like.
But I'll tell you what, from a media perspective, anytime you put Eminem in the headline, you're getting clicks.
Yep. Agenda.
No matter who it, like, it's just the truth. You know what I'm saying? But nah, man, you know, one of the things that, and you know, people could say what they want and have their own opinion, but it's funny that you mentioned how he was listening to Fat Joe, you're listening to Fat Joe, without knowing, right? Cut from the same cloth. That's a guy that every time I see him go up to take an award, he mentions a bunch of rappers, thanks them.
He does it.
A bunch of rappers who never get thanked, and
he does his part.
Yeah,
he does his part. Like, it's real easy for people to be like, no, he doesn't do his part, because, you know, it's like the people that's on that level are like pop people, you know, and that's usually like, that's like the opposite of hip hop. You know what I mean? Like, when you make it to that level, it's a bad thing and to a lot of people.
Right. Will there ever be another Bad Meets Evil?
I don't know. If Nick Cannon stopped keeping him busy, you know, I don't know. I mean, we haven't really talked about it. I mean, we got a couple records in the tuck, but I just been kind of like focusing. It took me a long time to kind of put this thing that I was doing together. And I don't know what he's doing. You know, like I went up there a couple times, but ever since I got in my studio, I haven't really been anywhere.
You've been consumed really.
Yeah, so I talk to him on the phone all the time. And it's more, we talk on the phone more now than we ever have since I've been knowing him. So it's more of a phone relationship.
Right.
It used to be more of a studio kind of traveling relationship. Now I don't even really travel with him as much because I'm always trying to finish up something.
Right, that's dope. And Slaughterhouse, man, will those records ever see the light of day? What's up with these?
Which records?
Well, there's Slaughterhouse records that we haven't heard that are out there. I mean, there was a whole album. Yeah, the whole album.
I don't know. I mean, we kind of stopped abruptly. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I don't really know. I mean, everybody's kind of like scattered out. You know, Joe's doing what I think Joe was intended to do. Like, this is the first time, and I'm so proud of him, man, because this is the first time I've ever seen him connected. You know, he's dialed in. It seems like that he's more relaxed and comfortable in his skin than he's ever been. And it doesn't take a lot of work for him to do what he's doing. It's natural. And that's when it's great, when it's natural, when it just comes natural. And, you know, everybody is just kind of like doing their own thing. Like the Slaughterhouse thing, to me, was always meant for us to come together, and I knew it wouldn't last forever.
Right.
There was like a job that needed to be done in hip hop at that time.
I remember I was at Double XL at the time when y'all first formed Slaughterhouse, and y'all had came through to do something with us. And y'all all came through together, and Joe asked me the question. I guess it was a debate. It was almost, it seemed to me like y'all was coming in having this like debate and needed somebody to settle it or another opinion. And he was like, man, if Slaughterhouse ever breaks up, who do you think will be the cause of it? What's the question? I always remember that. I was like, y'all just got together. Why are we talking about this? And I was like, you.
Well, that's because groups normally break up.
Right.
Groups normally break up, and then especially super groups in hip hop, usually we don't even see an album.
Right.
You know, so we did a few albums, we did a few mixtapes, and no one person was the cause.
Right. Okay. No, that's good. Man, I'm super excited. I feel like this is the prequel to something, man. I knew you was in town, man. So
always
shout out
to
to
see
Keno.
you, man.
Definitely wanted.
He's not even here. He's not here.
Yeah. But definitely wanted to get you on the set, the new set. We hadn't done this show yet. And you know, just hearing Black Savage and knowing that there was an album coming, I just wanted to sit down with you and figure out what you was working on.
It was a pleasure, man.
Nah, man. And I appreciate you, man. Good luck with the album. I know it's gonna be nothing.
Thank you, brother.
But heat, bro. Like, you never disappoint.
Appreciate it.
All right. And thank y'all for checking this out, man. Check out Royce the 5'9's new single, Black Savage, featuring T.I., Saha the Prince, White Gold, and Sorry the Kid, man. And, you know, look out for the new album coming soon. This is For the Record. Peace.